Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. First, let me say Happy Mother's Day to all those moms out there. Secondly, I am Sue Holt. I've been a stay-at-home mom for 15 years, and I am the founder of Mommy's Life Coach. So let's get started on how to avoid mom burnout. Oh no. Can you see my screen? Can you see? Okay. So, mom burnout. Tell me if this sounds like you. This is from the pragmatic parent. The mother of children who is dead tired, worn out, overwhelmed, and has no time for herself. She sleeps with one ear, listening for awake children, wears materials made of stretch and spandex, so you can tell if she's working out or she's sporting athleisure. Eats standing up or in the front seat of her car in less than 30 seconds. Makes 37 multiple meals and snacks every day. Cleans, picks up, entertains, plays, comforts, cuddles, nurses, folds, wash, rocks a child every waking moment of every single day, selfishly takes care of everyone around her, but taking care of herself is always last on the list. She's superwoman, but she's dog tired. And having mommy burnout means that this Wonder Woman has hit the threshold where she needs help because she can't keep up the charade any longer. So how many of you can tell me in the chat, how many of you can relate? All right, so let's talk about what we're going to cover today. Can you see my second screen? Yes. Okay. So what we will cover today is what is stress? Why are we burnout? What is stress? We're going to talk about threats. We're going to talk about the stress response cycle. We're going to talk about how to complete the physiological shift. We're going to talk about why we get burnout. We're going to talk about the human giver syndrome. We're going to talk about you're something larger, and we're going to go over the worksheets. We're going to have two worksheets that we're going to go over together. We'll do them together. Okay, so let's look at, okay, so what is stress? So this is by the book Burnout by Emily Nagoski and Amelia Nagoski. They're twin sisters. They wrote the book. Highly recommend it. It is a life changer. Okay, so stress, the neurological and physiological shift that happens in your body when you encounter threats. So stress is the actual thing that happens to your body. So the effect is the stress on your body. The stressor is what activates the stress response in your body. So the stressor is what's causing the stress, and the stress is the actual reaction in your body. All right, so let's go to the next one. Threats. So your body's stress response is neurological and a hormonal activity that initiates physiological change to help you survive. So when there is stress, your body reacts. And how does it react? Your heart will beat faster. Like right now, my heart is beating really fast. Your blood will rush to your muscles. You will let off endorphins, which will help you to ignore all these changes in your body. You'll feel like, and it'll help you to feel no pain, the endorphins. You'll also feel really alert. Okay, so your whole body and mind changes to deal with the threat. So your whole body reacts to the stress. Now, primitively, our threats were a matter of life or death, right? So in Neanderthal times, their stresses were a little bit different than ours, right? So they were worried about running from lions, being killed. So their stressors were life or death. So that's why their body would react to that, right? So now, today, our stressors are not life threatening. However, our bodies still react as if we are running from the lion. So our stressors have evolved. So like a stressor would be, your kids can't stop crying, right? You're not going to die from that. Maybe now you're physically not going to die from that. But if you were going to be chased by a lion, yes, you could die from that, obviously. So our bodies have not evolved to stressors like they did in our primitive years. So there we are, threats. Next. Okay, so the stress response cycle. So your heart's pumping, you're breathing heavy, you got all this blood in your muscles. So now the stress is gone, the stressor or what's causing you the stress, you need to finish the cycle. So your body is in a stress response, and there is a cycle to that. And our body needs to do something to feel that we are safe. So, okay, primitive times, you run away from the lion, you get away from the lion, you're like, oh, thank God the lion's not here. Now, after a threat is gone and the stressor is removed, the body's still pumping. The body needs to complete that cycle. So the stress response cycle needs to be complete. Dealing with the stress is different from dealing with what causes the stress. So just because you're getting rid of the stressor, so for an example, you're nursing, right? It's making you nuts. You're all stressed out, you're burnout. So you think, okay, let me start bottle feeding the baby. You take away the stressor. However, your body needs to complete that stress cycle. Your boss comes in, he's yelling at you, he's acting like you know what. You obviously can't scream and yell at him, right? Because it's not socially appropriate. So he gets out, the stressor is removed, he's out of your office, but your body's still pumping and going, and it needs to finish a cycle. So how do we finish the cycle? Let's look at this. So how do we complete the physiological shift in our body? So the number one way we can do this is physical activity. And physical activity tells your brain that you have successfully survived the threat. So your body is letting you know that you're safe. So the lion is not going to come get you. Okay. So that is the end of your cycle. Now, just because, this is not the only way that you can complete this cycle. Okay. There's other ways to complete it. So I know there's a lot of girls out there that don't like to work out. I know I have one friend on here. She hates working out, and that's okay. It's okay. You don't have to, right? Because there's other ways to do it. So you can do breathing exercises, 10 deep breaths in, deep breaths out, tells your body that you're finished the cycle, that your brain is telling your body that you're safe, and then the cycle is completed. Laughter, big old laugh, put on a funny movie, affection, give your partner or your kids a big hug, a big old cry. Doesn't that always do it? It always makes you feel better. It completes that cycle. Or creative expression. A lot of girls say, Sue, I don't like working out. It's all right, girl. You don't have to work out. Creative expression definitely does that. And that completes your stress response cycle. Okay, so wellness is not a state of being, but a state of action. And Emily and Amelia Nagoski, the writers of Mom Burnout, that is a quote from them. Okay, so why do we get mom burnout? Why are we burnout? Motherhood is not what we expected it to be. Certainly was not what I thought it was going to be. I thought I would be walking to the park, and everybody would sit in the stroller, and everybody would be fine with me strapping them into the car seat. No one would spill milk in the car. Everything would go great, right? Motherhood is not what we thought it would be. We also get mom burnout because we have mom guilt and we have mom shame. So many of my clients say to me, I have so much mom guilt when I'm not 100% and I'm not doing everything. And how the hell can we do everything? We can't. It's impossible, right? And not only do we get mom guilt, we get mom shame. So a lot of my clients will say, I feel when I'm at work, I'm thinking about being with my baby. When I'm with my baby, I'm thinking about work. I'm just a bad mom. And the shame goes on and on and on and on. Brene Brown says that guilt is I made a mistake and shame is I am a mistake. So, or in other words, guilt would be I made a mom mistake. Mom shame would be I'm a bad mom. All right. So also lack of self-care and self-compassion. Okay. We're moms. We don't have time for self-care. We don't have time for it, right? If you do, that's great for you. Okay. Self-care for moms, basically sometimes, and especially when the kids are little, is honestly just eating 3 square meals a day, getting your water in your body, not spilled all over the floor, using the bathroom when you need to, taking a shower, right? That's self-care when they're little. Let's be honest, okay? So I'm not just saying self-care, I'm saying self-compassion. 2 very different things. Talking to yourself, telling yourself it's okay that you left your daughter at dance school. You got the times mixed up. It's okay that you're not reading to your kid every night, right? Tell yourself that. It's okay that you're not on parents' council because you just don't have the time, right? So talking to yourself and telling yourself it's okay. Talk to yourself like you would your best friend, right? Your best friend wouldn't call you up and say, or you call your best friend up and you're like, oh my God, I left Katie at the dance class. I totally forgot. They were getting out later today and she's sitting there all by herself. Now, what would you say to yourself? I can't believe you forgot that, blah, blah, blah. No, you call your best friend because your best friend will say, oh gosh, girl, you got so much going on. Of course you forgot that, right? So why can't we talk to ourselves that way? That's what I mean by self-care and self-compassion. And next, human giver syndrome, which is my favorite, which this is also in the book, Burnout by Emily and Amelia Nagoski. So human giver syndrome is the contagious false belief that you have a moral obligation to give every drop of humanity, your time, attention, energy, love, even your body, in support of others, no matter what it costs you. Okay. And then these are 3 symptoms. Believing that you have a moral obligation, that is, you owe it to your partner, your family, the world, or even to yourself to be pretty, happy, calm, generous, and attentive to the needs of others. Another symptom, believing that any failure to be a pretty, happy, calm, generous, and attentive makes you a failure as a person. Another symptom, believing that your failure means you deserve a punishment, even beating yourself up would be your punishment. And the last, which is my favorite, believing these are not symptoms, but more normal and true ideas. Okay, so that is what human giver syndrome. Now let's look at our something larger. Okay, now this is Moana. Obviously I didn't draw it, but okay, so you're something larger. So Amelia and Emily believe that what you are doing when you feel most powerful, that you're doing what you are meant to be doing. So our genuine sense of something larger is always with us and it's inside of us. So I want you to think about a time and it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, what you do for work. It could be anything that you felt you were doing exactly what you were meant to be doing at that time, at that space, at that moment. And that is your most powerful. Okay, so emotions are, so the reason why I have Moana, sorry, let me go back to this, is because I'm sure you guys have seen this. If you are moms, you've seen this many times, I'm sure. We have seen this movie far too many times, I'd like to say. But in the song that she says that there's a voice inside of me and it calls me. And so that something larger is inside of us. And it's quiet, but it tells us that it's there. Okay, so emotions are tunnels. So we talked about that stress response cycle. It's a cycle. So emotions are like tunnels. So a cycle would go around, a tunnel you would go through. So exhaustion, and this is key because I know a lot of moms get here. I have myself. Exhaustion is when you get stuck in an emotion and your body is stuck in the middle of a stress cycle. So let me say that again. So exhaustion is when you get stuck in an emotion. So you're feeling this like awful, horrible feeling, or it could be it doesn't necessarily have to be awful, but if you're stuck in an emotion and then your body is still stuck in that cycle, like you haven't done a physical activity to end it, you haven't had that big old cry, you're just constantly in that cycle. And as moms, we know that is constant, right? I mean, I believe it's 211 times a mother of a toddler in a day will be interrupted. So just think about that cycle, right? So finishing our stress cycle and working toward our something larger will help us avoid mom burnout. So finishing your cycle, getting out of that, you know, not getting stuck in that burnout, finishing your cycle, doing exercise, doing creative expression, big old laugh, big old cry, finishes our stress cycle, and then working towards something larger, working towards that thing that makes you feel most powerful when you're doing it. And it's that something that you are meant to be doing that will avoid mom burnout. All right, so let's go to, I'm gonna stop share. And we have the workshop or the worksheets. I'm going to share the worksheets with you guys. If they are on the chat, if you need them, if you don't have them. And am I sharing this? No, you can't see this. Okay. You can't see my screen. Oh, bugger. There we go. Can you see it now? You can see. Okay. So burnout is the feeling of being overwhelmed and exhausted by everything you have to do while still worrying that you're not doing enough. Who can relate to that? Okay. So does this sound familiar? So tell me some things. What causes your feelings of mom burnout? And you can write them down. So what, and if you don't, do you have this worksheet physically, anyone? No? Okay. You can see it though, right? Yeah, okay. So what causes your feelings of mom burnout? Is it having to do dinner every night and no one else is responsible for it? Is it the food shopping? Is it the fact that your toddler won't nap? Is it the fact that you just can't take being in the house any longer? And then how can you ask for help? Okay, and I just want to say this. A lot of times my clients will say, well, I can't, I don't have any help. I don't, they don't live near their parents, or they don't have like that village. A lot of times, moms that don't ask for help or don't get help is because they don't want to let go of doing it themselves. So think really hard if that's coming up for you. Think really hard of where you can ask for help. Could it be a neighbor to come and walk the dog? Could it be a little girl across the street that can help you with your toddler while you're taking care of the baby? Could it be a friend? You guys could swap. You take the kids. I'm going to go out with my hubby for, if you can go out, if you're not in lockdown. Okay. And then next, think of a time when you experience an intense sense of meaning or purpose or alignment. So that's something larger I was talking about. Think of a time where that was happening for you. You experience an intense sense of meaning or purpose or alignment. You were doing exactly what you needed to be doing, pretty much what your something larger has for you, what's inside of you, where you felt most powerful. This is what I should be doing. And guess what? If you have nothing, if you can't think of anything right now, that's a goal to work on. What would give me that intense feeling, purpose, or alignment? What am I searching for? Okay, and then the next is the same. What are you doing? What is it that created this sense of meaning? Okay, next, do you suffer from human giver syndrome? If so, what are your symptoms? Okay, and I am going to share my second screen. Okay, and this is our second. I'm just for sake of time, I don't mean to be rushing you guys. So 6 ways to complete the stress cycle. So you have exercise, breathing techniques, laughter, affection, big old cry, creative expression. Pick 2 of them. And then I want you to write, when are you going to do this? Where are you going to do this? How are you going to do this? And how long are you going to do this? So if you pick exercise, when are you going to exercise? Are you going to do it in the morning? Are you going to do it at lunchtime? Are you going to do it at night? Where are you going to do it? You're going to go for a run? You're going to go for a walk? How are you going to do it? What kind of exercise are you going to do? Are you going to go to a class? You're going to do weights? Are you going to take a walk? And then for how long? 20 minutes, an hour, 3 days a week. Creative expression. You're going to garden. When are you going to garden? Where? I'm not a gardener, so I'm sure there's only certain times you can do gardening, so I'll leave that alone. Ways to avoid mom burnout. So I'm sorry to be rushing you through this, but so here's how you can avoid it. Okay. There needs to be a routine. Now, this might take you some time, and afterwards you want to work on it, that's fine. But you need a kid routine and you need your own mom routine. Okay. So what time do the kids go to bed? What time will you have meals? I know for me, Nights with sports is crazy. Everybody kind of eats at different times, but I know when, who's eating and what, right? What's their bedtime? Okay, when do the kids do homework? Do they do it first when they get home? Do they wait till later? Okay, and now what is your routine? What's going to be your routine? Will you wake up before the kids? Will you have coffee by yourself? Will you journal? Will you exercise in the morning? Will you read? Like, what will be your routine? And then last, I know we're in a pandemic, but when will you get out of the house? Even if you go for a walk, right? You need to get out of the house. We all do. You got to do it, especially when they're little. Okay, so I'm going to stop share. I'm going to look for some of the comments. Okay, Jen says, pregnant, so not a mom yet, but I feel burnout when I have to work on the weekends and don't get a break to do something else. Okay, so what I would say to you, Jen, is you need to find that time. You also need to give yourself a break because you are pregnant. So you may not be able to do what you necessarily want to do. However, I promise you this will not last forever. So I hope that helps. Tierney, I feel burnout when I don't get rest or exercise. Yes. Jen, asking for help is hard. I feel weak and I worry I'm asking for too much. Asking for help is very hard. And I totally agree. No matter where you are in the mom journey, it is hard. However, it is necessary. It is so necessary. And a lot of the times, like I said before, asking for help also means letting go of your expectations, letting go of the help that you're asking for. For example, when my kids were little, I'd ask my husband to go to bed. I'd ask my husband to put the kids to bed. Do you think they had their teeth brushed? Probably not. Did they, did he read them a book? Probably not. Were they in bed? Was it done? Were they safe? Yes. Okay. So hopefully that will help you. Every time I ask for help, by some, it rolls out one ear and forget. Okay. Yeah. So maybe putting up some boundaries and really saying this, I really need, maybe even a reminder, and being specific instead of saying like, oh, just clean up the kitchen, which I've done this so many times to the kids. And then like, they're just standing there. They're like, they don't know what that means. Right. So it's like, okay, they need a task. Okay. Put the dishes in the dishwasher, right? Be specific what you want. So yeah, being specific, saying what you want or need. My symptoms include wanting to please others. Oh my God, Jen, you are speaking my language. My symptoms include wanting to please others, and I don't like to feel like I'm putting people out. I want everyone to be happy. Sometimes that is just impossible, and then I have a hard time. Yeah, so totally can relate to that, Jennifer. Yeah, I like that you write right here. Yes, so important to make time for myself. Very important, especially if this is the same. Yes, especially if you are pregnant, Jen. Put those feet up, girl. Take your time. Megan, found just waking up 30 minutes earlier each morning. I have so much less stress. I agree. I hate doing it. And last week I didn't do it all week. And it was the worst week ever. I'm telling you, because I slept in and my allergies were bothering me and blah, blah, blah. But this week I got up, same thing, 30 minutes before, made such a difference, had such a better time. And just having that, I have one friend wakes up, takes 2 sips of coffee by herself, goes and sits in her little chair, writes a word, journals for only 2 minutes, sets a timer, thinks of a word, and only journals for 2 minutes. And that's her morning routine. She gets up 10 minutes early before the kids, but she feels so much better. So thank you so much, everybody. My information is in the chat. My website, Mommy's Life Coach. There's also a Linktree website in there. And yeah, this was so great. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Sue.
Yeah.
There might have been a couple more. I'm going to drop these in.
Okay.
You didn't miss them. Hold on one second. Here they come.
Okay.
Oops, is that it? Nope, that's the wrong ones. Hold on, let me try again. If you scroll up a little further, starting with Kristen from Facebook Live, did you see that?
I'm sorry. I don't know that I did.
It's above all the workshop.
Oh, it's above everything.
And yeah,
Burnout.
here we go.
For some reason I didn't get it. I'm sorry.
Okay, hold on. See, you might have said it. Let me just double check. Sorry, everybody. That one.
Kristen, no. What are some burnout signs that we should look for in moms, friends, and family? Very good. Isolation, which is kind of tough in a pandemic, but you know that one friend that won't do the Zoom calls. Isolation is big. Having that constant state of like deer in the headlights is a symptom. Not noticing depression symptoms, like disengagement, being anxious, like shaky. That's also a symptom. Good question. Thank you, Kristen. And then Michelle, how can I reach out for support when family is not the option? My immediate family is distant. My mother is deceased and my father is busy. And I'm pregnant with my second. Oh, girl. My oldest is 7. Dad helps, but lives in separate homes. Okay, so I know that there are, I'm not sure if you know of Mothers of Preschoolers. That is an organization for moms that they meet. Not a lot of them are meeting in person right now because of the pandemic, but they do have, you get together, you have like discussions, and they also, some of them provide babysitting while you're hanging out. Also, if there's a girl on your block, like my daughter, for example, is 13. She just got certified in CPR. There's like a babysitting thing, and she helps out other, like she's not there when the mom leaves, but even if you just have somebody in there, and you know, that can help mommy's helpers. Also, if you have a friend, you can switch. Hey, I'll take the kids for 2 hours. And then next week you take the kids for 2 hours. And that's other things. I hope that helps, Michelle. Lily from Facebook, how do you suggest to start the conversation with your partner asking for help without sounding like you're complaining? Excellent, Lily, very good. Be specific. For example, and let go of expectations. Okay, so for Mother's Day last year, someone gave me this great idea. Instead of when he asked, what do you want for Mother's Day? Instead of me saying, I don't care, nothing. No, you know what I said? I said, this is what I want for Mother's Day. I want you to deal with dinner. I don't want to have to think about it. I don't even want you to ask me what I want to eat. I just want dinner to be taken care of for one night. And he did it. So I was specific. I set my boundaries. I let him know what I wanted. And if you do one thing at a time, instead of having a big, long list, usually they kind of will, it's easier for them to do it. So not easier, but what's the word? They're more like compliant to do it. Yeah, so I think I got everything. Is there anything else? Thank you so much.